So it's good to be here. Last time I shared an Inspired Stage, I was sharing my story, how I found myself to be a lost kid to doing what I do now. But today I'm going to share a different inspiring message. I thought I may cut half of the speech, actually. I have a theme, and I wanted to kind of tie everything together with what the speakers have been speaking about today. And I discovered that there has been a recurring theme. And I feel that it fits quite well into what I'm about to say. So, who am I? That's not a question for myself. That's a question that most millennials ask. Who am I? Most people are lost and stuck in life. And most people commit suicide, especially after a success. After they get to that point, they strive and strive and strive, and then they get there and they're like, what now? Why am I still not happy? Who am I? Has anyone ever gone through some sort of an identity crisis or heard of that phrase before? Yeah? That's the question that everyone asks who's gone through an identity crisis. Who am I? You see, the reason why millennials are lost and stuck in life is because they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want. And a man without vision is fated to perish. Because human beings have visions. We're here to create. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'd like to share a story with you. Who likes stories, by the way? You guys like stories? So it's a story about a king and a sadhu. Does anyone know what a sadhu is? A sadhu is a Hindu holy man. So it's like a sage, someone that's like a saint, yeah? Very wise. And one day this king have heard that there is this wandering sadhu that's just traveling around from countries to country, visiting many different empires. And this sadhu was so wise that he was basically traveling around to serve the royal family in each country, to help them put in democracies and politicians in place, you know, lots of different things in place to make the country a better place. So, of course, this king hears about this sadhu and he invites the sadhu to come and see him. And so the sadhu went to visit the king. And the sadhu spent a whole day with the king, advising him what he should do with his country, with his men, and with the power that he has. And after a day of spending an entire day with the sadhu, the king was gobsmacked. He was so inspired. He was like, oh my God, I finally found my teacher. I must have him on board. I must have him as my advisor, my bishop, whatever. I'll give him the best place on this country. And so he pledged. He asked his new teacher and said, teacher, please, I need you. You need to stay in my country. I'll tell you what, if you just stay in my country and you just advise me, I will promise you, you will be the second most powerful man in my kingdom. Guess what the sadhu's response was? He laughed. And the king just thought, well, this is a little bit insulting. I mean, I show you respect as my teacher. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get your head chopped off, you know. So why do you laugh? And the sadhu looked at the king and said, Your Majesty, I think you are mistaken. I'm already the most powerful man on this country. And the king went on into a rage. He was like, how dare he? What? I am the king. And there is no other man that is more powerful than I am on this country, in this country. on this land. And the sadhu looked at him and said, well, I am. And the king said, prove it to me. And the sadhu said, well, if you really want me to prove it to you, I shall meet you tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. by the castle gate. Make sure you prepare 2 horses. And the king thought, 5 a.m. in the morning with 2 horses. What's he gonna do? Trying to compete with me in a hunting game? I shall take him on this challenge. And so, that's exactly what he did. The king woke up nice and early, 5 a.m. in the morning, prepared 2 of the finest horses by the castle gate, and of course the sadhu was already sitting there waiting for the king. And the sadhu hopped onto the horse and said, come, let's go. So the king rode out with his men, with an army behind him, all the way to the forest, where the king brought his spears and bows and arrows, ready to go on a hunting game. And of course, they keep riding and they keep riding, and surely the sun has risen, and the king went further than he should have. And the king said, teacher, where are you going? Where are we going? I thought we were having a hunting game. And the sadhu said nothing. I said, just come, just keep following me. We haven't reached the destination yet. So they rode and rode and rode, and surely enough, they have reached noon by now. The sun was high and rising, it's so high in the sky, it's burning, it's scorching down, it's hot, and the king was getting exhausted, and he was like, what are you doing, teacher? Where are we going? I thought you were proving to me that you are the most powerful man on this land. And the sadhu said, just follow, just follow. And the sadhu just keep riding and riding and riding. And then finally they got to this river bend, by the land's border, where soldiers were staying guard by the river, by the walls of the gates. And the sadhu rode out, and then the king finally stopped and said, hey, hold on a second here, what's going on? And the sadhu said, come, just follow me. And the sadhu rode his horse across the river to the next land. And the king said, where are you going? Why are you leaving? And the sadhu said, I thought you wanted me to show you that I'm the most powerful man on this country. And the king said, yes, so come, follow me. And the king said, but I cannot leave this border. And the sadhu asked, why? The king said, because if I cross that border, I'll be in my enemy's territory, and my life will be in danger. And then the sadhu looked at him and smiled back, and that, Your Majesty, is exactly why I am more powerful than you. And he rode off to the next land. What is true power? Most people live life just trying to strive for success, become someone, become somebody of significance, to prove that they are powerful. But the story has shared with us that, and revealed to us that actually power isn't that. The sadhu was very powerful, and he is indeed the most powerful being, probably on the whole entire planet. Why? Because the sadhu knew who he was, but not just that. He knew very clearly what he was, and who and what he was going to become. He knew very clearly what he was here to do. He had a mission to serve, not to be bounded by any country, but to serve every country that he could land his foot on. And that is why he was so inspiring. And that is true leadership. Leadership really is about three things. If you want to become a leader, you need to first have three things. One, you need to have awareness. Awareness of who you are. Awareness of what you are. Awareness of who are you going to become. Who you choose to become. Second, you need to have values. You need to know your values. You need to know clearly what your core values are, because that determines who you are. Because that is telling you what's important to you in your life, in this current moment of time. And thirdly, like I said before, you need to have a vision. Because no leader is ever a leader without a vision that inspires the team. Because it's not the leader that is inspiring, it's the vision that is inspiring. And to finish off my speech, anyone ever watched Westworld, a new series, season 1? There's a great quote. The quote goes like this: no one is actually interested to know who they are. They already know deep down who they are. They're only interested in finding out who and what they can ultimately become. Thank you for having me tonight.